Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to talk about MMTLP. Recently, MMTLP has attracted a lot of people into this trade because a lot of people in the trading community believe that, this is a very volatile stock with huge potentials to go up. And on paper, a lot of stars are aligned. In fact, not just on paper, on chart as well. Like the historical highs are very phenomenal to not be moved by what's currently going on. And this could very easily be one of the plays of the year. Of course, the bar might not be very high, but still, from below $2 for a long time to all of a sudden to $10, this is a very phenomenal run. And in this video, we're going to talk about what's next for this stock and should you be trading it. As always, if you appreciate what I do, please consider to drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and check out the links down in the description. Before we begin the video, I'd just like to state a brief disclaimer. So what is presented in this video are going to be my opinion or my interpretations on how things are and should be. They're not investment advice and they should be watched for entertainment purposes only. They may be able to help you to make a more educated decision, but they shouldn't be used as the sole material for the decision making. Most of my analysis is done in the immediate past or just a few days before the uploading of the videos, and the price action may no longer be whatever you see on the chart by the time this video is uploaded. But as a tool, it's still very useful to analyze the relationship between past trends and the current momentum, and hopefully to see what the future has for us. Also, the analysis usually tends to cover the stock from a comprehensive perspective. It doesn't really apply for MMTLP in this case, but I would say that generally speaking, we would try to cover not just the price actions. So usually, if applicable, the company's financials, the stock market trends, the long-term perspectives, and the shareholder behaviors would also be covered because they will affect the timing, the quantity, and the actual decision. So because most viewers would be watching any of my videos for the first time, they may not be fully aware of those factors, even if for people who have been following those both the stock and also my videos for a long time, you know that sometimes the same elements come back. Well, they come back for a reason. It's because it's very important for them to consider all these factors. So with all that being said, let's begin with today's topic. Recently, it was announced that MMTLP would finally go through with the S1 proposal. And as a consequence, there has been a huge wave of changes potentially happening to the short positions that are still open. And in fact, most of those positions still seem to be open. It's an interesting situation in that now that the S1 has been approved, MMTLP has been taken to new highs. The general mood in the trading community is very joyful, as the expectation is that those shorts will want to cover their positions and they will have to take, many days to be fully covered because there's a difference between the volume and the outstanding, accumulated volume of shorts. So this is mainly caused by the daily volume compared to the sheer size of the shorts that we have, we've mentioned previously. So over the past few sessions, the bulls have enough reasons to push upward, and they have. So the price has been hovering around $10 with a support region between $9 level. The general mood is that after such a bullish run, it is very normal for MMTLP to take a break before continuing upward. And we should also expect additional shorts trying to push the stock down. Nevertheless, I believe that as far as the price action momentum is concerned, things shouldn't be that complicated. The tendency is very clearly bullish, as we should expect the stock to reach at least, in my opinion, $15 to $20, if not more, within the next couple of days. So before we go forward, I would like to see the stock going above maybe $11 before committing a large chunk of the capital in this company. No one knows how far a potential pullback might go, but in my books, even if it goes down by an additional 30%, all the way down to like 6 or 7, it would still remain a bullish stock. So the online discussions suggest that there is a high amount of optimism regarding the future of MMTLP due to the short squeeze for the most part, and also because some people are very hopeful that the stock will be able to benefit from high price of energy around the world. But like by far, for the most part, the short squeeze is the name of the game. The market mood is heavily influenced by the fact that there's still a lot of shorts that haven't covered. And the quantity of shorts that are still, dormant, shall we say, is enough, theoretically speaking, to the very least, to jolt the position to a much higher level, whatever your position is, regardless of how much you've put in. There are signs suggesting that it'll be a question of weeks before all the shorts of MMTLP would have to be redeemed, which essentially acts as a huge boost before the company becomes private. As a side remark, the fact that MMTLP is doing well may also benefit MMAT. As the shareholder base is mostly retail and sometimes people tend to bind those two companies together, it doesn't mean that those two stocks will see the same kind of gains, certainly not, but that MMAT might also enjoy some sustained increase in both volume and also share price as time goes, at least for the next couple of weeks. And in fact, we haven't really talked about MMAT here, but as a standalone company, MMAT also seems to have at least, a very bright future ahead of it, because the company's fundamentals are good. The operations are going, in my opinion, fine, and the company has proven to the market that it means business, because large clients are willing to trust their products in the hands of MMAT. So this is why I do believe that other than MMTLP, metamaterial MMAT also deserves to have a presence in our portfolio. Currently, about 46 million shareholders own MMTLP, so this is a very good sign on paper, because this would mean that people are optimistic about the potential short squeeze. It also suggests, unlike usually when we have a lot of institutional shareholders, well, in this case, it just means that people are optimistic about what's going to happen with the short squeeze. Whereas usually, if the stock were to keep on going, then it would also mean that people are optimistic about the fundamentals. In this case, I don't think that it's that much about the fundamentals. I think it's more about we believe that MMTLP is going to shoot up to the moon, and this is why a lot of people want to pitch in a dime here and 2 dimes there. Of course, it might be tens of thousands, but for institutions managing billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions, it doesn't really matter. So, long story short, regarding the biggest catalyst by far for MMTLP is that there is a potential short squeeze. A short position is open with borrowed shares from brokers, and they have to be paid back at a later date, hopefully when the share price went way down. As long as the positions remain open, the company would have to pay financial fees to keep them open. In other words, the longer the thing drags on, the less money they're going to make, and more importantly, because the potential loss for short positions is infinite, right? So if you think about it, they have a lot of incentives to quickly to redeem their positions if something goes haywire. And right now, things have more than just gone haywire. With all that being said, I want to say that I have seen a lot of potential short squeeze plays occurring on Reddit and on other online forums, people are always very hopeful that these kinds of things would happen. With that being said, it doesn't always mean that the stars are aligned for real, right? I don't know if you guys still remember a company called SPRT. Well, SPRT was like, people were hopeful that a short squeeze was going to happen for sure. And something pretty surprising happened. I think the company changed their names or like merged with another corporation, which caused like all the options that were in the money to go worthless. So I'm not sure that this kind of stunt will be pulled every single time that people who are shorting the stock can win the fight. But I think that we should always expect something unexpected to occur. The same kind of thing happened with CCIV. I remember everyone was saying, this stock is going to go up to the moon, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, I think there were some private shares, like the private shareholders, they wanted to get on a deal that actually, disadvantages the retail traders. So as a result, the momentum was broken for CCIV at the time. Now, I'm not saying that the situation is the same here, but what I'm saying is when we're going against larger, like bigger fish in the pond, we should expect that something that we didn't consider might occur. So over the next couple of weeks, it's very important to look at like if there's any movement coming out of like the short positions, if they go down at all. Because if they don't go down now, we can always say that, oh, you know what, they're just taking their sweet time. We still got a couple of weeks, on and so forth. But imagine we're now like in early December, right? We're now in December 5th. We're now in December 6th, whatever. And those positions are still there. That would cause some trouble. That would cause me some concerns, because this would suggest that maybe those shorts are playing on a different, level, and maybe they don't really follow our logics. Like, I hope that this is not going to be the case, and right now I don't have reason to believe that this is going to be the case. My point is, when we decide how many shares we want to buy in, we have to consider those, I want to say, freak scenarios. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind as we move on to like my recommendation. So I believe that MMTLP has enough steam ahead to make it to new highs. There's going to be a lot of new volume, or at least there should be a lot of new volume coming in over the next couple of days. And even with the probability of like potential pullbacks or surprises, like last minute surprises, the stock will probably rise to higher levels eventually. And by eventually, I mean like after maybe a week or so. So the stock should definitely be considered as a trading stock with a strong potential to earn quick gains. For people who wholeheartedly believe in MMTLP, they should simply hold the stock for a couple of weeks. Based on different factors, I believe that MMTLP remains overall bullish, but we should expect more pullbacks to give the bulls some additional oxygen to come back later. And also, maybe put aside like 40% of your allocation in case those surprises occur, and then everybody would get spooked. The stock collapses by like 40% in one shot, and maybe afterwards recovers. Like, it's better to keep a portion of your capital aside for those kinds of scenarios. If they don't occur, then, either just leave the rest out, because maybe by then takeoffs already occurred and the short squeezes already occurred. There will be no point in just jumping on the train when it's at its peak, right? So it would be okay, in my opinion, if you leave like 40 to 50% of your plan allocation outside of the stock. So my recommended exposure would be between 1 to 3% of your portfolio.